Finding your voice versus freeing your voice. It's an interesting distinction that really came to me right before we started up this conversation. I actually have this thing called a distinctionary. Most people have a dictionary where they keep the definitions that go on for them. I keep a distinctionary. It was a suggestion made by my mentor and coach. And in that distinctionary, I capture the various nuances that show up for me in the way that I look at the world. And there's an important reason for that there. What I have found is that on the path from leadership to mastery, there's an element of being able to see what other people can't see and to hear what other people can't hear. And what has really been a large tool to help facilitate that has been the element of nuance and distinction. To see the slight difference in the word, to feel the slight difference in the tone of voice, and to understand the slight difference in the cadence that's of language. And in those changes, in those distinctions, lie all the information that we need. So freeing your voice versus finding your voice. A lot of times I'll hear people talk about I need to go find my voice. I need to, that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm in a period right now when I look at my mission and what it is that I'm here to do, which is to bring together a truly inclusive and empowered world where I feel like, honestly, for the last 2.5 years, I was going about a process of trying to find my voice, trying to figure out how do I do this thing that I feel called to do. It took me down the path of coaching, getting my own coach, being a part of different intensive, joining leadership teams, really investing in myself over the last 2.5 years and experimenting with a lot of different things. The element of it, though, and I didn't really notice this until actually in the last few weeks when the creative elements of me have just been flowing out. In all those places, I was trying to see what people would respond to and almost finding my voice by being someone who would pay attention to what was coming back at me and using that almost as a way to say if this is what you're listening to, then this is what my voice must be. And it was really insidious because I've been aware of this distinction of finding versus freeing for months. But it wasn't until I started actually leaning into the freedom of expressing myself that I could see this distinction in more of its fullness. You see, in the last few weeks, let's not even go in the last few weeks. Just earlier today, I had the first courageous conversation where I brought together a group of people to really talk about and leverage things about them that made them different and have the courage to bring that out into the world. This here was an idea that came to life maybe about a week ago. And within the span of that week, I brought it to life and just allowed it to be without knowing if anyone was going to want it, without having to see what the feel of it all. At this point in the game, it was about releasing what felt like it needed to come out of me. And that energy, that shift has been an important one. To simply free what already wants to come out and to allow over time the different distinctions and nuances to come and play into that and help refine that which has been released. So where in your world right now are you working hard to find your voice? And if you didn't have to go externally to find it, and you could just sink in to yourself and allow yourself to simply do what is naturally being called from you, simply speak to what is naturally being called to be said, how would that impact the way you show up? And how would that contribute to your mission? Today, I can really feel the smile coming up on my face. I get to spend some time with someone who really has been showing me what freeing your voice looks like. I got to spend some time with Sana, and Sana, I'm going to bring you on in just a second, but I want to kind of call out some things that are real about who you are to me. Uh, you're such a powerful person that in preparation of this conversation, I went to go and listen to your newly released podcast. And the thing about this here, for anyone who hasn't checked out your podcast here, not only is all about like creating the impossible there, right? But it's in Dutch. Like I really don't understand the language, but what I get about you is that your power comes through the words. It's beyond the words that you use that ends up moving people. And I knew that I could connect with you and step into this space with you because I know the one thing that's on my mind is how can I serve this powerful person so powerfully that it changes the trajectory, literally, of civilization. That's the bar that I'm setting right now for myself. It's a high bar, but knowing who you are and how you show up in the world, that's the only way I want to show up. That feels really good to say it out loud. So I'm going to mute you here. I'd love to just bring you in here. It's great. I'm so happy you said yes to this invitation.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm happy to be here with you.
So let's start off here with just being with one another. I like to start off these conversations just removing the veil and allowing ourselves to enter into the brag zone. Right. You spent time in conversations with me. The brag zone is a place where you don't have to worry about coming off cocky or arrogant. You can leave humility to the side. And you can just allow yourself to really just own all of who you are. I want to start our conversation off with you owning who you are. So I'm talking to that powerful person right off the bat. We don't need to slide into it later on. So tell me, like, here, I would love to understand more about your outer journey, your accomplishments, your highlights, the things that you're most proud of here, and the things that other people might think of when they see you. You mind sharing a little bit about that with us?
Yeah. It's funny because when you speak about bragging or like telling something about myself, I kind of feel like I'm freezing. So it's really uncomfortable or challenging for me to talk about this because what I do and what I've accomplished is coming from inside out and from my heart, and it's just who I am. So it really feels like awkward to talk about what it looks like on the outside. So this question is already challenging. Thank you for that.
You are very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm like, yeah, the hot seat starts immediately. But we're here in service. We're here in service. So you please, use this as it would serve you.
Yeah. And I think what I'm most proud of for myself and what on the outside looks like easy or she's just doing it is that I made the decision for myself to really own who I am and create the life that I really want to live instead of the life that I was living or actually surviving. And from the outside, it looks like that I can just do this and everything happens. And I've got all my shit together and I'm just striving every day. But I'm most proud of making that decision to create this life, to live this life, and to help others to do the same, because that's my big mission. There's so much space and things we can accomplish when we really step into our own power, and I want to give that to others as well. And I'm doing that, and I'm living that, and that's who I am. Is that answer on your question?
No, it didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna just be honest about it. But at the same time, we get a chance to get to know you. All right.
Okay.
With us here, like take us through some of the things that you're doing. Maybe, perhaps with, it could be some things from the past, or now that you've made this decision to create your life. What do you love about the life that you've created? Tell us about the life you've created. Tell us about how you started to bring your mission to life. I'm curious about that, so I can make sure that I'm meeting you where you are, not about where I last like not about the time that we were last together.
Yeah. So what I love about my life right now, or the life that I created and still creating, is that I have freedom and like space to play. And it's freedom inside of me, because I really feel free inside, but also like freedom in time and my agenda to do whatever I want, and to create like a business the way I want. And that's freedom to me, because I can fully be in that and also be fully with my family and my kids. And that started with helping other people transform their bodies, mindsets, and like healthy habits. So my journey didn't start like creating this life I'm living right now, but it started with helping people to take better care of themselves, and to help them figure out what it is to be like fully okay with who you are. And that's where it started. And I helped so many women in particular to really lean into that journey for themselves, and creating that strong body and creating that healthy relationship with nutrition, and creating a strong mindset. And by accomplishing that for myself and for all those women, I realized that my mission went way beyond that. And that's where it started my bigger mission. And now I accomplished that I help other people to create that business, that life, and taking good care of themselves, like all together. And that's what I do. And I'm good at it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
owning it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That has space here. That really has space here. And I acknowledge you for stepping into right off the bat. Like this is why I really enjoy like being able to play with you, because right off the bat you immediately stepped into something that could have been uncomfortable, and you kept going through it. You are great at it. I'm really happy that you're owning it, and that's it's important for us to be able to start from that place. I have some questions, just like, because I'm curious. I've seen some pictures. I've seen like I as I said, I was listening to the podcast. Like the last time we saw each other was maybe 5 or 6 months ago. I think last time I saw you, I might have still been Nemo. So we've both been on a journey since then. I got a picture from you with something that was a new product that had been launched here. I don't know if this is. Can you speak to that at all here? Like, because there's some things that's really been coming to life, and I would love to just celebrate with you before we go any further here.
Yeah, I think you mean the card box.
Oh yeah, I think I'm talking about the card box.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can talk to that, of course. Yeah. Well. Okay. Well, should I tell the whole story?
Because, I think it'd be really great to just like capture the story. Like, I'm curious about it here. Tell me about the story about the card box.
Yeah. So I was on the team with you for the Rich Litvin event, the intensive, and for the celebration party, I was thinking about that when we go to parties, we always bring gifts for other people. And I was like, how cool would it be to bring like a gift for ourselves? So I created an idea around writing a celebration note or a compliment card for yourself. So from yourself to yourself. And so that everybody at the celebration party could receive a gift from themselves. Wow, that was awesome. That was like, I couldn't even imagine beforehand like how this would end, but everyone was loving it.
Yeah, I had a chance to be in that circle there, so to experience like the gift of giving that to myself there. Yeah. Continue.
So I thought I really have to do something with this. So back home, I started creating like small cards and a card box to really create something as a gift from yourself to yourself, but you can also use it for others. So I created a card box with 30 cards in it, with instructions how to use them. So how you can use them for yourself and really capture them or collect them in the box. And you can also use them for others. So it's a gift box you can use for others and for yourself. And it's like, I created this really from my heart, because there is so much power in a gift, but also there's a lot of power in words. Because when you write something down and you read it, it comes like boom. And you can always come back to a written message, because it's long lasting. It's just not loose words. It's like powerful because it's on paper. It's like there forever. So you can come back to any message you wrote to yourself or you got from someone else, read it over and over again and experience the power. And that's the gift I wanted to bring into the world. And so that's the card box I created.
You know, it's really cool how you say this here, and there's a part of this here that seems like, you know, pretty casual. You know, it's like I wanted to give everyone a gift. I thought it was really cool. Everyone was giving gifts, but we can just give it to ourselves. Then they did, and that was awesome. Then I came home and we're like, yeah, let's do more of this. And like, not only will I create a card box, but I'll make the card box itself a gift, and that will also have beauty and so on and so forth. And you're seeing the impact of that go out now. I would love to just slow that down just a little bit here, right? Because what I'm hearing is what I'm loving is, well, what I'm hearing is this thing actually started out from a very modest place. One time, one group of people, one idea, to just give them a chance to be able to celebrate by giving a gift back to themselves. At that time, did you have any like idea that you would want to go and create a card box that you can go and share with other people or anything like that?
No, not at all. No.
So I'd love to like be in that space there. Like what gave you the impetus to say like to actually activate on this? A lot of times we have really cool ideas, but it doesn't really come to life. We'd love to just see really quickly, like what made this idea different for you? Yeah, I'll end it with that question. What made this idea different for you?
That's a really good question. I think I just felt it here that this would be something cool. And when I told it to someone on the team, she was like, wow, we really have to do this. So that's where I kind of started owning that idea and that it is really cool. And because of the reactions afterwards, I was like, I cannot not do something with this. So yeah, I think I felt it, and then I got a confirmation, or how do you say that? Yeah, confirmation. And then it just blew up.
There's an element of this that just feels really, I want to call out the simplicity of it all. Have you made card boxes beforehand? Are you like, is that something you've done?
No, never.
Okay, yeah, that was a bit of me was like, I was like, my assumption is that she has never done this before, but this person just woke up, said this would be really cool. So I was like, you're right, that would be really cool. You're like, great, so I'm doing it. Then you came, you're like, you saw in real life, you're like, yeah, no, this is actually really cool. And you're like, so I'm just gonna go and create a box and just make this come to life, right? I say some of these things here, a bit tongue in cheek, but I think it also speaks to the creative power that is within you. And as we continue on here, I want to make sure that we're tapping into that there. I am really curious here, because just as I think about you, your mission, and the way that you're bringing things to life. Like, it was great to see the podcast that came out too. I'm like, wow, like you're really in a creative, you're bringing things out to life here. I was going to ask you, and I don't think I'm going to right now. I was going to ask you about like what made you feel like you can bring it out to life and all that, but I feel like that's too interviewee, and not enough in the place of service here. If it comes up, I might ask that question later on, but I would like to do it in the place of service here. What I'm getting from you is that there was something about this that was pulling you forward, and you kept meeting it at whatever the next level happened to be, without it being too big of a thing. You're just like, this one time, great. Or this one even before this one time, it was like, I had this idea. I told this one person, and then we did it this one time. And then it led to this next thing. And you're like, and I don't even know how to make a card box, but I'm just going to keep moving forward with what comes up next and next and next. Can you fill in anything on there? Is there anything that you would say from your experience helped you bring this thing from idea to the level that you've brought it to at this moment?
Well, first of all, I love that you said simplicity, because everything I do comes down to simplicity. Keep things very, very simple. And I think it also relates to like finding versus freeing. I love that distinction. And I kept going because I wasn't looking for something. I didn't want to find the right product or thing or like something good to sell or whatever. But I was creating from a place of freedom and from my heart. And I just felt, no matter if I only sell 2 boxes and make someone happy, that would be great. I don't care. I just want to have this product for everyone who wants it or needs it. And that's what kept me going. I was like, and sometimes I struggled, like, okay, where can I find the boxes I want? And who can help me with this? Or what help do I even need, or how to move on? And in the end, it all came down to just keep going, one step at a time. And then one day it was delivered. So, yeah.
And it can be just that simple, right? And I like to call this out here, because it sounds really intense. It's like, how do you create this? And you see everyone else doing it, and you just simply decided and took it one step at a time. So let's move here. Thank you for giving us some space to celebrate you. Like, I really haven't seen you in a while. I just really want to really honor you and acknowledge you for what it is that you created. And from my perspective here, there's an element of like, I had known how you show up in the world, but you have been taking it to new levels in the months since the last time we've seen each other, in terms of visibility, in terms of creation, and in terms of getting other people to have an experience of you, whether through your words or through your thoughtfulness. That's one of the things that came out the most to me during that gifting period, just how thoughtful you had been in creating that there and making that come to life. So I love to be here in full service of you. All right. This is our space to go and play for, the next 20, 30 minutes, and what I would like to do is, since we're in the brag zone, since we are playing from a place of power, right? And since we already started out this game, with a level of intensity that is, this appropriate for the two of us here. If this was going to be a conversation that changed the trajectory of your world, what would we need to talk about today?
Yeah, so I'm working on something. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which is, I think, very simple, but I'm making it complicated in my head. And I want to slow down, but I also feel kind of a rush. So a couple of weeks ago, I had this like huge insight that because I was talking to a couple of very inspiring people, and I got so much energy from those conversations. And there were people like me, like they were thinking really big, and I felt their hunger for creating and for more, and really step into a next level, whatever that would look like. And I was like, wow, yeah, cool. So, and I also noticed that I constantly was connecting people. Like when I talk to someone, I'm like, wow, you really need to talk to that and that person. So this huge insight was all around this, around connecting. And I was like, I don't know what I have to do, but I have to create something that I can bring all those people together, because when I bring all that powerful, inspiring people together, and so that they can connect and we all can step into our next level, and together with people who get you, I mean, that's very powerful. I was like, wow, I have to create something around this. I have to bring my people together. So that's the mission I'm on right now. And I have really big ideas. And I spoke it out into the world like last week to Alisa, who's both our friends. And she was like, hell yes. So in 1 week of time, my idea got from 0 to like thousands, which is very cool. But I'm also like in my head, I'm already thinking about what it would look like in 6 months, and can I really make that happen? So I feel like I want to do one step at a time, like I do with all I do, but I'm also rushing and feel kind of the pressure to really make this happen. Yeah. While there is no pressure. I mean, I have my whole life to accomplish this, and I don't care about starting small and, but I'm not thinking small. I'm thinking really big.
So let me ask some things here related to this here. You mentioned well, actually, no, I'm going to stop. I'm going to pause myself. Thank you for sharing. Before I go on and just assume that this is what we need to talk about here, let me check in with you. All right. If we were able, like, do you have a question on this? Is this something you just wanted to share? Let me just check in with you on that.
I don't know if I have a question around this. Because the real question, if I have a question, it would be, can I make it happen? But you don't have the answer. And I know that I can make it happen, but I just have to follow my path, because I know this is from my heart. And I can feel it, because I don't care how messy I'm going to look like or how small I have to start or whatever. I know this is going to happen no matter what. So if I have questions, I already know the answer, and I just have to do it. But I think it's already helping to speak it out loud to you.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I just recently made a post, either a video or I wrote it down. I don't remember now, because I've just been in a prolific sense of creation, and just like there's been a lot that's been coming out of me. And one of the things that I was writing about was, it was a post, and it was about like, I'm realizing my own process. My process, and it came up to me when you were talking about 0 to 1,000. My process has been, when I get stuck, I'm usually going from 0 to infinity. I'm like, how can this like I have this great idea, and then it's like, how can it scale? How can it get to every single place in the world? Like, oh, here goes this issue. I'm going to take care of that. And I'm like, but I want to be able to just sit down and be able to create these things and then be able to walk away. And I don't want to be tied to it, but I need it to be epic. So like, that's where my mind goes, right? I'm seeing some laughing at like, is there any part of that you get for yourself?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what had come from it, and it was just a reflection in that post there. I've recently gotten a team to support me. Right? And that team has really, it's actually brought more things to life and also freed me to be even more creative. And what's come from the element of having a team is that I found that when I'm able to break down that process from 0 to infinity into just 2 distinct pieces, like we can fly. And the distinct pieces are, and it's actually based off of Peter Thiel. He read a book by the name of this one. It's called 0 to 1. And then after 0 to 1, then it's 1 to infinity, right? But it's like that first one just needs to exist there. And so like, I'm just going to ask this question here because I'm a person that's on your journey with you here. And I just wanted to see this here. Since you've gone from 0 to 1,000, if you were just going to go from 0 to 1 in the next week or so, what would that need to look like? What would that need to look like for you?
I think let go of everything and focus on one conversation at a time with someone who potentially can be in my idea. Just focus on only that. And then see what comes from.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm feeling called in this moment. You don't have to say yes to this at all, but I'm feeling called. I am one person right here. Would you like to tell me a little bit about your idea? Would you like to, it may or may not be for me, but I'm clearly, I'm interested in your success, and I want to continue to support you wherever I can. So it may not be the thing that would really serve you, but I'm here in case you're interested.
I think it would serve me because it gives me an opportunity to speak it out loud and see how it lands. So I can practice on you.
Yeah. And my invitation to you, as you do that, like, cause I'm right there with you on it. That's part of the reason why I offered it. Don't worry about how it lands with me. And this goes down to, like, instead of trying to find a way to say this, right? What if you freed the way to say it? So if you're going to, in this moment, free it and just let it be whatever it is, I probably won't even give you any feedback one way or the other. I'm really good at withholding on feedback. If you were just going to free yourself to just tell me about it, like what excites you, what is it about it, why this thing is like the thing that's caught your heart. Because when you said that, I'm like, oh, she's on to something. Like, if you can tell me that and just free whatever is in your heart that wants to come out, I would love to hear that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And it's funny because you said maybe I don't give feedback. I was thinking, I don't need your feedback. Oh, okay. Yeah. So what I want to create is like a group of people who are all in the same game or want to play at the same level. To create a space for them to really be whoever they want to be, and to create like the big things they're up to, but holding them like just giving them the space to lean into that even more, and to help them like take one step at a time, and to be able to fully support them in that. And I want to do that in a group because I think it's really valuable to be able to watch each other grow, but also being able to connect with other people who are at your level, and maybe they can end up working together or creating together or connect other people outside the group with someone. So I really want to create a space to lean in and trust and coach them in whatever they want to create. And giving them a place to really connect outside our conversations, to continue their journey together, and to know that there's always someone who has their back, like always. Because it's so valuable to have people who really get you. I missed that for a long time in my life, and I now found some people who really get me and see me. And I know the value and the impact of that. And when I can create a group of people who are really bonding and really up to big things in this world, the impact of that, like when they come together, the impact of that is like, boom. And I also want to create like life experience to not only connect through Zoom or whatever, but like experiences all over the world where we can really feel each other's energy and like have fun together and create a space to just be in the moment and grow from there. Yeah, there's a lot of things coming up. So it's not concreter than this yet, but there are a lot of things swirling around. I know I want to bring a group of people together, my people.
Anything else?
Yes, I want those people that that they scare me a little bit. yeah. I want that my own people like scare me off, because what I need in my life and what I know that my people need is challenge, like challenge from inside out, not like challenge jump on a car or something. Challenge from inside out. So I want to set that bar high, which already scares me off, because then I'm like, okay, yeah, how can I get those people in my group, you know? But I want to raise the bar so high because I know that's what lights me up, and that's where my biggest impact can happen on those people. And because of the ripple effect on the world.
Anything else?
I know that, that you were going to ask that. No. I want to make it happen.
Awesome. And so it is.
Boom.
Boom. Right there. Great. So where should we take this conversation now? If we've gotten to this place where we just had boom right here, right? In the next 10 minutes, where it was like a real, and I'm going to say it, a real boom experience. Not an okay experience, not a like, I'm looking for that feeling, whatever boom means to you. You've used it a few different times in this conversation. I want that. What should we talk about that would really create that sensation within you?
That's a hard question. I don't know, because I feel like I'm in a pretty good place And I know that I just have to do it. Like I don't have like questions or big struggles or whatever. You already helped me like with a big insight to take one step at a time, or for me like one conversation at a time and go from there. I felt that came in like, okay, I only have to do this. No, one step at a time. So yeah, I don't know. There's nothing coming up, to be honest.
Thank you for being honest. Like, for me, I think that's wonderful. Like this is the power of what we do here, right? We don't need to use time just because it's time or whatever it is. Like, you got what you needed, and I acknowledge you for not manufacturing anything, just being where it is. There's so much of me that's like, oh, if we're talking next step, we can go next level. But I'm like, no, you got what you needed. You got what you needed here, and you showed up in that there. I get excited about you continuing to do both the things that excite you and that your heart is calling for, and also the things that scare you. There was something about when you said that you're like doing the things that scare me. I know myself. I'm building out my trailblazer oasis, and I sit down and there's an element of me that's like really apprehensive because I'm like, well, like who am I to do that? Like this is my story. I go, who am I to do this? To call upon trailblazers who are creating world changing impact, however they are, right? Whether it's through a gift box or whether through a TED talk or through a coaching conversation or through leading their organization and creating something new. And I really just want to acknowledge you for just being you and being able to run toward what scares you. I think that's actually really fun for you, just knowing you. I'm like, yeah, that's the place that you need to play. You can create, but I'm really excited to see what you create when you're coming from that place as well, or when you're inviting that place as well.
Yeah. Thank you. And can I say something else?
Please.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I saw your video with Zach, and you were talking about like you did a lot of inner work and felt like you now really unleashed yourself, and it was like no slowing down anymore, but just go and make it happen, something like that. And I was like, yeah, I feel so unleashed since like October, since the intensive, that I don't care anymore. I feel like totally grounded and ready. So I really feel unleashed, and I think that's where the power of all this come from, and that I'm going to make it happen, you know, like with the card box. That was all from the unleashed me. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you because that really resonated with me when you spoke about that.
Thank you for that. Like there's on multiple levels, I'm receiving that there. I really appreciate you sharing that. You know, this you had said something earlier. You said I don't care. This is the second time you said it, but you said it that first time. I was like, oh, I recognize that. I know that. It's like I just don't care. You know, like this is coming. You know, like it doesn't matter what it is. I don't care. And I love playing in this space too. Right. This is why like in the space of this kind of creation, a lot of times I'll work with people, and it's around like getting them to the place where they can own who they are, right? I kind of call that the misfit to outlier journey, where it's like I don't really fit in here, you know, I'm misaligned and all this stuff, and like we get to the place where we're an outlier. And what I love about you is like you're out there, you're blazing your trail, you know, and you're in creation, and there's a lot of fun to be able to play with that as well. Right now, I think like we're playing with it exactly as we need to, and creating big things. And I love looking at this here as two people who've decided, why not play the big thing game, you know, and go and create that as we go along. So let's wrap this up here from a place of how either I or someone else can support you for what it is that you're creating in the world right now. All right. Given all this here, how can someone come in and support you? It could be by joining the program. It could be in some other ways, but like, I want to leave space for that too, because for us creators out there, things are happening, you know, and I want to make sure we're playing on both ends here.
Yeah. What's coming up for me is that if someone watch or hear this video, audio thing, and feels called to me around my ID or whatever I shed in this moment, I would love for his or her to reach out to me, what the intention is. Like, if you feel called on some kind of level around this, reach out, and I'd love to see what happens from there. That's
Awesome.
what's coming. Yeah.
And let me just check with you energetically right now, right? With that request, energetically, how does that feel for you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Maybe a 6.
Maybe a 6. Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
So I want to play with that just a bit here, and I do it with you because of who you are, right?
Mm.
The invitation's still open, right? Do you mind if I make an invitation along with this here?
Of course.
Speak to me when you're doing it, right? There's an element of what you say is to slow down and have one conversation with one person. There will be people listening to this that will happen next week, and that will happen years from now, right? Speak to me, and those people will hear you. So if you had a request, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I need to fulfill it, but just to make this real for you.
To be honest, I don't know if I'm feeling it right now.
Okay.
I don't feel like I can leave you with a powerful request.
Okay.
I feel like everything I said around it came from my heart and was powerful. No, it's not there. It's no, not now.
Okay. All right. This is it. That's one of the fun things about playing this game here. It's like, I never know if I'm right or wrong, but I always want to create the space, you know. And what I love about the way that you choose to play this game is that you either step into it if it's the right thing for you or it's not, you know. So let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this conversation here. And when there is a time where if another ask comes up or something like this here, like your people are listening to this right now. Your people are seeing your heart, because that's what you're putting out there. Your people are seeing your boldness and the way that you show up in the world here. So I have no feels or qualms about any of that stuff at all. And as things come up for you, I want to let you know that I'm here to support you as well. And it goes beyond just powerful conversation. Like this is a platform. This is a place where we are created. This is where we go and we help people who are up to big things make their things come to life. You're one of those people for me. And so I want to really, and honestly, I'll be honest, like, it gives me a chance to be able to step in and say, how else can I play this game? How else can I step up to my next level to meet and support from new levels? Mm. So I'm going to end off here. I'm just going to speak really quickly to the camera, and then we'll just wrap up this here together, right? But I just wanted to say, like, thank you. I really acknowledge you for the game that you play. Thank you for bringing that game to this conversation here. And thank you for creating the way that you do.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So being in the place of just allowing your voice to be free, without it having to be right, without having to make it into what anyone else wants it to be. I'm even in this conversation right now, just seeing how often in this conversation, when things were in the right direction, we went there. And when it wasn't, we were also good. Where in your life, on just a small basis, can you bring just that much freedom? The freedom to say no. Oh, as I think about it, it's like I can feel my heart feeling there's a bit of electricity there, of just like being able to know that that is also wonderful and all right. And if you're looking to bring some of that to life for yourself, we have a few different opportunities for you to participate with us and continue the journey. One of them is being a part of our small group, Trailblazer Oasis. Another is our 2-day intensive, which is taking place in Singapore and in the US. And if you're interested in any of those things beforehand, I wanted you to get a chance to experience what we do. So go to niiamah.com/tribe. That's NIIAMAH.com/tribe. And come get an experience for yourself of being supported by this tribe and seeing more of yourself than you've ever seen, so you can leverage that out in the world to create beyond what you've created. Here's to being more you each and every day. You are a gift to your world. I'll talk to you soon.